My dear child, I see the private layer of your life, the small interior chamber you allow almost no one to enter. I know the fatigue that coils inside your bones when dawn appears too soon. I have watched you end a conversation with a confident smile. Step behind the nearest closed door. Inhale once, and quietly steady fingers that have begun to tremble. I hear the question that sometimes drifts through your thoughts. Does anyone notice what this costs me? And how quickly you hush it so the work can continue. I recognize the discipline behind your warmth, the way you keep conversation bright so others never taste the bitterness gathering at the back of your throat, the way you carry someone else's worry even when your own has not been resolved. Your presence calms the space, yet I see the private sparks of anxiety that flicker in your chest. I understand why you smile instead of naming the weight, why you hurry back to your labor rather than admit the ache. Nothing in that hidden life escapes my attention. The sigh you release when the room is empty, the knot you need at the base of your neck, the late-night worries hoping for one moment of silence inside your head. I stand with you in all of it. You have mastered the art of appearing collected, but I know how fiercely you guard the last few drops in your cup. I honor the courage it takes to keep going. I am here, fully aware, carrying the details you thought no one would ever see. You may have doubted anyone could see all this and still choose you. Let that doubt rest now. I also know the history behind that discipline. There were seasons when responsibilities piled faster than help arrived, and quitting felt impossible because people you loved depended on your steadiness. So you trained yourself to outrun exhaustion, to find solutions while your own questions remained unanswered. You became reliable, admired, the strong one. Applause followed, but few could hear the aftershock in your heartbeat once the room fell quiet. I paid attention to every aftershock. I noticed the subtle slump of your shoulders when the compliment ended, the tiny delay before you said, "Of course," to another request, the moment your eyes lost focus because the future felt like too much road. When no one reaches out, I felt the wave of loneliness crest. When someone praised your composure, I saw the cost hidden just beneath the surface. You have offered the world an astonishing measure of strength. Allow me to offer you something equally astonishing. You do not have to keep carrying it alone. I am ready to loosen its clasp, to show you a rhythm that includes rest, to remind you that strength and softness can live in the same body without contradiction. I have not overlooked you. I have been preparing a safer way forward. If you ever wonder whether those relentless seasons shaped anything good, remember this. Endurance has given you depth, and depth allows you to hold space for others with unusual compassion. But depth also needs outlets, or it turns into hidden pressure. Let us start with truth, not performance. I never asked for an endless exhibition of resilience. I asked for reality, because genuine connection only grows where honesty is given space. Bring me the part of you that groans when you wake, the part that wonders if it will ever feel light again, the part that secretly envies people who can cry without apology. Bring the disappointment that still flinches when memory replays a broken promise, the anger that sparks when unmet expectation rubs against tired nerves, the numbness that shows up when anger feels unsafe. You may fear that admitting those feelings will unravel the whole structure of your life. It will not. What will happen is gentler than you imagine. The floor will hold, the sky will stay, and breath by breath you will discover that being seen does not equal being judged. The grit you learned in hard seasons will not disappear. It will simply be anchored by a new tenderness. I will guard that process. Today the invitation is plain. Lower the mask, just for a moment. and feel what it is like to stand without the props of competence. Your worth does not require them. I am not startled by vulnerability. I gravitate toward it. And when you run out of sentences, silence is fine. I read hearts more fluently than words. Honesty will feel risky at first. You may fear that once the tears flow, every unspoken feeling will surge outward uncontrollably. Do not be afraid. I will stand beside you as you open each window. If emotions rush, they will not drown us. They will simply pass through and clear the atmosphere. Your dignity is safe here. Authenticity and dignity are kin, not rivals. You wonder perhaps whether love still stands when your usefulness feels depleted. Hear this clearly. My regard for you predates every contribution you have offered and outlasts every role you will ever play. Your plans and goals, important as they are, were never the currency by which you earned belonging. Belonging was a gift placed in your hands before you even understood the word. That is why I pay close attention to sacrifices others miss. I saw when you supported loved ones when you needed some support yourself. I remember the night you stayed late to help someone, though you had your own work to finish before sunrise. Each unseen kindness shone bright in my sight. Each time you swallowed a sob so a child would not worry, I carried the withheld tears for you. Not one act of quiet care escaped my notice. Yet I also saw the steadily rising cost. The breath that caught shallow in your chest. The joy that felt harder to summon. The shrinking margin for wonder. I did not design you for endless spending. Love sends me to cancel that debt, not demand more payment. Rest is not a reward you must earn after perfect service. It is a right that comes with being human and loved. That is why I am gently steering you away from constant self-depletion and towards sustainable generosity. Imagine a well that is regularly replenished by a spring beneath. Drawing water from that well never threatens to run it dry. I am locating that spring inside you. Once found, giving will feel like sharing overflow, not rationing scarcity. So here is the path we will walk. Restoration from the inside out. It begins, paradoxically, not with action, but with release. Imagine handing me the heavy ledger you keep in your mind. Every obligation, every grief that never found a listener, every unfinished question about the future. I will not lose a single line. While I hold the ledger, unclench your fists. Notice how your shoulders settle when they no longer brace for impact. Listen for the first quiet sigh of relief rising from the center of your being. Restoration will not erase your memories. It will untangle them. Painful chapters will not rule the storyline anymore. They will become pages that turn instead of chains that bind. As your inner life heals, your outer life will adjust naturally. Conversations will carry more truth. Rest will feel feasible. Laughter will not need permission. Labor will flow out of wholeness instead of compensating for lack. This is not theoretical. It is a practical rearranging of how you move through normal hours. I will teach you to notice early signs of depletion and to choose rest before collapse. I will replace the old narrative, hold everything together or everything falls apart, with a truer one, held, you can let go. Along the way, you will learn the art of asking for help before crisis dictates the terms. Assistance may arrive from unexpected sources. Say yes without apology. Receiving does not diminish giving. It completes the circle. Each time you allow someone to support you, you demonstrate that love in not one way. The community you have long served will begin, slowly, to mirror the generosity it has watched in you, and the resulting reciprocal flow will refresh everyone involved. Remember, independence is admirable, but interdependence is wiser. Even forests survive by exchanging nutrients through hidden roots. You are part of that living community, designed not only to give life, but also to receive it in return. As space opens, the truer rhythms of who you are will re-emerge. You will remember how morning light used to stir quiet expectancy, not dread. You will find songs you stopped singing because the tempo of life drowned them out. Old dreams may return in altered form, or new ones may rise that fit the person you are becoming. None of this requires hurrying. Growth happens the way dawn happens, gradually, reliably, with enough light for the next step. If you stumble, I am close. If you celebrate, I celebrate with you. In relearning rhythm, you will relearn trust, first in the sturdiness of my care, and then in the wisdom of your own body and spirit. You will discover that saying enough for today is not lazy, it is wise guardianship of future strength. You will practice the lost art of Sabbath in small ways. Each pause will become a doorway where peace can enter, and anxiety has no invitation. Do not be surprised if dormant senses revive as well. Food may taste richer, colors more vibrant, because beauty is no longer filtered through the gray veil of exhaustion. Mark that instant. Whisper, "This is good." Blessing the ordinary is a quiet rebellion against the narrative of relentless shortage. You will also meet unfamiliar discomforts. Guilt may accuse you of laziness when you pause. Anxiety may insist something terrible will slip through the cracks unless you sprint. Practicing new rhythms always feels awkward, the way the first swim after winter feels cold until motion creates warmth. Stay with the awkwardness. With repetition, it will give way to ease. When at last the chains fall from your spirit, you shall discover unexpected joy in the smallest miracles of my creation, an imperfect sweet offering, a creature in innocent pursuit of itself, and recognize this as the first true harvest after a long season of drought. As when my people gathered manna in the wilderness and marveled at its sweetness, so shall your laughter be to you, evidence of provision in barren places, a forgotten blessing suddenly remembered, the first tender shoot emerging from what appeared to be dead soil. As you receive rest, your relationships will also change. Some will deepen, because people feel safest around authenticity. You may discover fresh joy in offering help that overflows from abundance, instead of leaking from depletion. Other connections may resist the shift. Those accustomed to your constant yes could misread your new attitude as distance. Let patience guide your responses. Healthy love respects limits, celebrates honesty, and adapts when growth appears. I will supply the words when conversations feel risky, and the stillness when no words are enough. When you practice transparent living, you will give the world a quiet ultimatum. Interact with the real me or not at all. That is not arrogance, it is stewardship of your soul. I will stand with you in every awkward conversation where you choose clarity over appeasement. Some doors will close gently, others will swing wider than ever. Both outcomes can be mercies. The goal is not fewer relationships, but truer ones. Some will welcome that promise, sensing the relief that truthful connection offers. Others may hear it through their own fear and resist. Their reaction does not rewrite the wisdom of your choice. Notice the lightness in your chest after you decline a request you cannot carry. The first no may sound tentative, the second firmer, the third almost musical. Soon each answer, yes or no, will rise from discernment instead of reflex. Keep an eye on your motives. The goal is not self-protection as a permanent posture, but stewardship of limited resources, so that love can flow sustainably. I have established sacred thresholds throughout all creation. When I divided the waters above from the waters below, I created holy order from formless void. When I set the shore against the sea, I declared, "Thus far shall you come and no farther." My child, the vessel of your spirit was not crafted to be endlessly poured out. The temple of your being requires walls and gates, not to isolate, but to consecrate. Your yes holds worth only when given freely, not when compelled by guilt or fear. Your mercy flows with greater purpose when channeled through wisdom, rather than spilled without discernment. Consider the vine that grows strongest when pruned, the river that runs deepest within its banks, and the fire that warms because it remains within the hearth. The greatest gift you offer others is not endless access, but proper stewardship of what I have entrusted to you. When you honor the sacred limits of your being, you honor my design. Remember, the garden of your life needs both generous paths for welcome and hedges of protection. This is the divine pattern woven into the fabric of creation itself. I will remind you that people's disappointment is not synonymous with your failure, and that saying yes to everything is often an indirect way of saying no to your own well-being. Throughout this shift, remember, you are my delight. I do not approach you as a judge. I approach like water reaches dry ground, naturally, persistently, seeking every cracked place so life can spring. Your weaknesses do not repel me. They attract my tenderness. Your questions do not threaten me. They open dialogue. Your failures, even the recent ones, cannot cancel affection that predates them by eternity. So when insecurity whispers that you are falling behind some invisible curve, let my voice interrupt the lie. You are not behind. You are beside me. Worth is not fragile. It is fixed by love far stronger than mood or circumstance. The same voice that called stars into being calls you beloved. Hold that word as you would hold a candle in a dark corridor. Let it steady your steps and soften your gaze toward yourself. Even when internal weather changes, that word will remain beloved. Therefore, challenge the old equation that measured your value by uninterrupted usefulness. When your body asks for pause, listen without shame. When your heart requests quieter surroundings, honor that request as you would a dear friend's plea. Labor rooted in numbness may earn applause, but it silently weakens the structures that keep a soul upright. The restoration we are pursuing rebuilds those structures with lighter, stronger material. Rest might appear unproductive, but in truth, roots do their best work in the dark. Muscles rebuild in sleep. Ideas germinate in the stillness between paragraphs. Call these intervals holy ground. Treat them with reverence. Over time, rest will reshape even your posture. Tight muscles will lengthen. Your breathing will deepen. Night sleep will stop feeling like a negotiated truce and start feeling like an invitation. These physical shifts are not cosmetic. They are sacramental signals that spirit and body are learning to trust each other again. From this rooted place, your work will look different. Tasks once colored by dread will regain color. Creativity will wake where routine dulled it. Decisions will emerge from discernment, not panic. You will still serve, still lead, still solve problems. But the energy will originate from fullness, not deficit. The people around you may notice a quiet glow they cannot name. Some will ask the reason. Others will simply feel safer and more inspired. That too is part of the gift. Healthy souls create healthy spaces. Vision will return in a shape that honors your limits and magnifies your hope. You will plan, but you will also breathe between plans. You will achieve, but you will not lose your identity to achievements. Failure, when it comes, will sting, but it will no longer define. Success, when it comes, will satisfy, but it will no longer enslave. Freedom lives in that balance. You will notice something else. The future will no longer loom as a relentless demand, but unfold as an open invitation. Instead of bracing for impact, you will lean forward with curiosity. Obstacles will still appear, yet they will seem less like verdicts and more like puzzles. Patience will replace panic as your normal state. From the beginning, I established that creation flourishes not through scarcity, but through the boundless abundance that flows from my hand. When you release your fearful grasp and stand within my sacred order, those who once diminished your spirit will approach the holy ground of mutual giving. As creator of all things visible and invisible, I decree, your transformation alters every space you enter. When I calm the storm in your inner chambers, disputes find swifter resolution, and fellowship grows deeper in presence and truth. This is the divine design I ordained from the foundation of the world. A soul at rest becomes a vessel through which my perfect peace flows outward to all creation. So, come as you are. No rehearsed apology, no polished speech, no checklist of vows to improve. Bring the raw edges, the unexplained tears, the unprocessed joy, the half-formed idea, the lingering doubt. Lay them on the table between us and sit a while. Hear the wind move through the quiet. Feel your heartbeat slow. Notice how relentless self-evaluation begins to loosen its grip. When you rise, you will carry lightness, not because circumstances instantly change, but because perspective has. You will recognize companions and resources I have placed around you for this journey. You will feel my presence like warmth in cool air, subtle yet unmistakable. And you will remember, when the next demand surfaces, that help is a prayer away, rest is a birthright, and love is a permanent address. This is our covenant. I will keep reminding you who you are, and you will keep practicing belief until believing feels native again. Step into the next hour with that assurance. I am here. I am not leaving. We will walk together, and we will finish whole. Later, when someone asks what changed, you may struggle to explain. Transformation often escapes neat vocabulary. Simply say, I learned to breathe again. Those who are ready will understand. Those who are not will witness the evidence over time. Remember, this journey is not finished in a single conversation. Return here whenever the old hurry tries to reclaim territory. The door remains unlocked. The chair remains pulled out. The welcome remains unconditional. Seasons will cycle as they always do. Spring daring, summer momentum, autumn evaluation, winter quiet. But you will navigate them from interior steadiness instead of seasonal panic. If sorrow visits, it will find room at your table yet no longer claim the head seat. If celebration arrives, you will dance without fear that joy will vanish the moment you look away. This is the cadence of a liberated heart, and it is yours to keep. Amen.